Welcome back to my channel. I'm Traben, and in today's video, we're going to play a game of Book Connections. I'm teaming up this week with my wife over at Amanda Should Be Reading to do Book Connections. This is a book version of the New York Times game Connections. So if you don't know, this is one of several word games they have up on their website. We play it frequently, and my wife saw this concept on a channel called And They Were Readers, and so I will link that in the description below. We've taken 16 books, and there are groupings of 4 books that have some commonality between them, and it is our goal to try to organize the books such that we find the 4 separate groups. In this video, you'll see the 2 games that Amanda put together for me, and me trying to solve the Connections games that she created. And then over on Amanda's channel, if you want to see the games I put together for her, you can check that out. I will again link the video below in the comments once they're both up. So without any further ado, let's get to the games.
All right, we have the books I have picked out for Traven's Connections game. We have The Tea Dragon Society, Atomic Robo Volume 4, Something in the Water, A Natural History of Dragons, Deadbeat, Legends and Lattes, Usagi Yojimbo, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Gone, The Book of Dragons, Tea with the Black Dragon, Earthsea Quartet, Shady Hollow, Beastars, Super Dinosaur, and His Majesty's Dragon. What jumps out at you?
So initial thoughts is there's a lot of dragons and a lot of dinosaurs. So, but the problem is there's too many dragons.
Too many dragons.
And I think I'm trying to see if there are. Let me try to do dinosaurs then, and see if there's more than 4 dinosaurs, because I definitely see more than 4 dragons. We got dragon. We got dragon, 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 dragon.
That's definitely more than 4 dragons.
That's a lot of dragons. All right, so let's do dinosaurs instead. So, this features prominently features a dinosaur. This one is, I believe, the first appearance of Dr. Dinosaur. We have Super Dinosaur, and then we have Go. Now let me look around first before you jump in here and tell me something. I don't think. Again, we got dragons, like a lot of dragons, but I don't think we have any more dinos. So I'm going to say dinosaurs.
Yes.
Okay.
That was my purple.
That was your purple?
Because you had to know Dresden had a dinosaur in it. It's not on the cover.
That's fair.
And I didn't know when I picked it. I couldn't find another volume with Dr. Dinosaur in it that didn't have him on the cover.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he very popular. He a popular guy. He's hilarious.
So when I picked it, I thought it would be more sneaky.
Okay.
And then it turned out not to be sneaky.
That's fair.
So.
Well, I will say, like, yes, you need to know what this is about, but also this is, like, arguably...
I knew you would know it.
Series.
I knew you would know it, so I didn't feel guilty putting it on there, because I knew you'd know it had a dinosaur character.
So now what I want to do is I want to move all the dragons down here. This is something I can't do with actual connections. It's like, oh, look at all these... Yeah, look at all these things that have dragons, so I can figure out which one of these is not working with everything else. Okay.
You missed one.
Oh, I did. Dang, so many dragons. Yeah. All right, perfect. All right, so we got Usagi Yojimbo, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Beastars. Okay, I'm seeing something. I got some. I got a stew going here. Okay, we've got. If I move this one up here.
Yeah.
Because there aren't a whole lot. Because once I put the dragons all together, there's not a whole lot else to work with. I believe these all feature anthropomorphic animals.
Correct.
Okay.
That was my yellow.
All right. Now I'm in trouble because I don't know.
Well, you know one of the categories.
Sure, but like, there's so many. All right, let's move these up a little bit so I've got more time, more space to work. Okay. I don't know. maybe there's a different type of fantasy character or creature that's in these, but like I've not read 3 of these.
You do not have to have read them.
Okay.
I haven't read 4 of these.
Okay.
On the ones you are looking at, I have not read 4 of them.
Okay.
5 of them.
Okay.
I haven't read a lot of them. You don't need to know.
All right. So it's not just that they have dragon in the title, because they all also have dragon in the title. Let's see here. I can get it just by looking at the cover, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The Book of Dragons. A Natural History of Dragons. A memoir. Introduction. Looking Glass Libraries. Tea with the Black Dragon. Tea. Okay. Maybe. But that would be funny. Like, that's almost a set. So Tea with the Black Dragon, Legends and Lattes, and the Tea Dragon Society all have like drinks. But I don't know if I could put another thing in that category.
Okay. Why don't you read all the titles of the books you have left?
All right, got the Tea Dragon Society. Was these just all of them? Okay, Tea Dragon Society, Tea with the Black Dragon, Legends and Lattes, Something in the Water, Natural History of Dragons, The Book of Dragons, His Majesty's Dragon, and the Earthsea Quartet. That I don't feel like that helped.
What did you say you thought the category was?
These all have drinks.
Mm-hmm. Which ones have drinks?
Well, this is Tea Dragon.
Uh-huh.
This is Tea with a Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
This is Legends and Lattes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Like, let's just say. So I mean, this is water.
Yeah.
So I guess. I guess. Drinks.
Yes.
Okay.
Beverage and title.
Beverage and title. But also, we went out of our way to find just every dragon book we could possibly find in the house.
I could have found more.
So then that leaves us with the actual category that I recognized first and am doing last, which is dragons.
Dragons.
Okay.
So I was going to do a dragon category, and I had Tea Dragon in it. And then I found that we owned this book. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I could do multiple books with tea. And I was thinking of Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. I was going to do tea books, but I was like, that's also really easy.
Okay.
Because they'll all have tea in them. So then I thought, well, what if I don't do all tea and I do other beverages? And I already had dragons as another category. So I was like, oh, well, what if I move Tea Dragon from dragons to... And I could just do... we have lots of dragon books.
Yeah.
So then I could put these two and I put Legends and Lattes. And then I was like, what do I have that has water in the title? I want a different drink.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you put something in water, you get tea.
or lattes.
Or lattes.
Or coffee, yeah.
So...
Most drinks composed of something in the water.
Yeah. All right, that was fun. I like that. I like that quite a bit. I think that you struck a very good balance of like easy ones to spot, but then also things I had to work a little bit through. I think recognizing that there are so many dragons and being able to actually, unlike the actual Connections game, be like, okay, all of you over here. We'll figure you out later.
Yeah,
I've got other things to sleuth out.
I wanted you to read the title so that you would say the word water and go, oh, that's a drink. Because you had it. You just were completely ignoring the fact that water is also a drink.
Yeah. I should drink more water.
So how many of these books have you read? Let's do the easier way.
Okay.
Which of these books have you not read?
I've not read Shady Hollow. I've not read Usagi Yojimbo Origins. I've not read Tea with Black Dragon, Book of Dragons, or Natural History of Dragons. And I didn't finish the Earthsea Quartet, but I've read 3 of the 4.
Yeah. Did we ever finish the
We never
fourth one?
finished Temeraire? The last one.
Tanar.
Is
that what the 4th one's called? Tehanu.
Man, way off.
Well, Tanar's a character.
Starts with a T. Yeah, we started it, and I
remember reading some of it to you.
Yeah, it was very, very slow.
Yeah, I was hoping I could find an Atomic Robo with Dr. Dinosaur where he wasn't on the cover. but it seems like he's on the cover, or you don't have the other volumes he's in. So I had to pick that one. And it seemed harder when only 2 of them had a dinosaur on the cover. And like you had to kind of know that Dr. Dinosaur was in it, but he was on the cover. So that kind of blew the lid off of my sneakiness.
Okay.
And the internet is not much help with books with secondary characters who are dinosaurs. You just get 8 million picture books.
Fair enough.
And while I could have rated the children's picture books, I feel like that would have stood out just as much.
Right, that's fair. This is good. I liked it.
As few of the books as you have not read, I read Super Dinosaur, Shady Hollow, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, T-Dragon, Something in the Water, Earthsea, and that's it.
Okay.
I think I've read as many as you haven't read.
Ah, okay. All right.
Something like that.
Well, I guess on to round 2 then.
Round 2.
Yeah.
All right, round 2. I will read you the titles. The Night Librarian, The Grimoire of Grave Fates, Private Wars, Parable of the Sower, Late Click, Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. What you are looking for is in the library at Mount Char, A Deadly Education, Rhythm of War, Atomic Robo, and The Shadow from Beyond Time.
And The Shadow Beyond Time, okay.
Wrong Place, Wrong Time, A Game of Thrones, This Is How You Lose the Time War, Down a Dark Hall, and Magic for Liars.
Okay. So, immediate noticing is libraries. And I think there might be 4 of them. So, we're going to library up.
I may have
Versus the Evil Librarians.
accidentally put several of those next to each other.
Libraries. So that is my initial thought. So these deal with libraries.
Library in the title, correct.
All right. Yeah.
Library or librarian, but yes.
Library or librarian. Okay. So then, I think from there, my second thought is that we have things that deal with time. So if I move this down, we can move How You Lose the Time War, we can move up Atomic Robo, and we can move Wrong Place, Wrong Time, I think. So this line, time shenanigans.
Correct. Time travel books.
Time travel books. And unfortunately, that is where I stopped noticing things. So, at this...
Those were the yellow. The library was my yellow, and the time was my green. So, those were the easy ones.
Okay. So, at this point...
I think you will get one of them, and then I will have to tell you what unites the last set, because it's pretty silly.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move this up here, and then I'm going to move this up, and then I'm going to start looking at books. Because I feel like these are all things you've described as dark academia, even though I've not actually read any of them. Did I read Magic for Liars?
No, I don't think you read it.
I don't think I did, but I've heard you talk about it.
You knew a remarkable amount about it for not having read it.
Yeah.
But
and I know I'm fairly sure Parable of the Sower, not Dark Academia, but I don't know about these two, so I'm gonna take a look at those.
We'll read the cover. That will help you also.
Okay. All right. Oh, at Blackwood School for Girls, the private lessons might kill you. That sounds like academia that is also dark. So, I'm going to put this up here. It was going to be between this or Private Wars, because those are literally the two that I don't think I've ever... I didn't know we owned those. Like, it's to the point of, like, I don't know if I've ever seen these before.
Down a Dark Hall is a book from my teenage years that I brought back one of the times we went to my parents' house.
I saw it was from the person who did I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, so. I had, like, all of her books.
Okay.
And this is a book I bought in New York.
Okay, so, Dark Academia.
Set in a school.
Set in a school. Okay, fair enough. Would you just not define this as Dark Academia?
No.
Okay. This is a nebulous description for me because I don't read a lot in that genre.
I remember that book is set in a school.
Cool.
Let me see it, because all of Lois Duncan's books had a thing that they were like, the one with astral projection, or the one with seeing the future. And I can't remember. This one says the terror is real only in her dreams. So I think this was the dream one. Mm-hmm. Who will believe her if her fears are real only when she sleeps? So yeah, I think this one had something to do with like dream stuff. But I don't quite remember. I just remembered that one of them was set in a school.
Okay.
And so I found it.
Okay. Now, we know this is a category.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I have no idea what unites these, other than, like, I know these are like, big in the fantasy world.
You do not need to know anything about these books.
Okay.
To figure out this category. I have not read 3 of these books.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the contents of the books.
Okay. So I'm looking at the covers here, and I'm noticing #1 New York Times bestselling author, #1 New York Times bestselling author, New York Times bestseller, but I'm not seeing anything here.
That is true.
That
would have been interesting, because that is not what I intended.
Yeah. So I don't need to know anything.
However, that is really interesting that unites these 3 with the thing, with the category I actually have.
Okay. So I just need to... I can just look at this.
You can just look at the covers. You don't have to look at the backs. You don't have to know anything about the books. Yes, okay. It's something to do with the covers.
Okay. Something to do with the covers. Well, this is the most, like, minimalistic. So I guess I should look at this one. So, let me look. They all have blurbs by John Green. Or forewords by N.K. Jemisin. Okay.
Play along at home, viewers.
Yeah, like, please.
This is a tough one. This was my purple.
Okay.
This was one I had the idea of, and I had to go find all 4 books for it. Because I had the idea of something that is common on books.
Uh-huh. Okay. But I'm not... So... Like, there's barely anything... If it's something that's on the book, there's barely anything on Game of Thrones.
Okay, what's on the Game of Thrones cover?
The title, the author, and a sword.
Yep.
Okay. As far as I know, Rhythm of War does not have a sword nor any real weapon on here. Mm-hmm. Is it author name as large or larger than the title itself?
It is.
Okay.
It is author name larger than the title.
Okay, that's really funny. I like this one a lot. This is a good category.
And you had the meta knowledge of knowing this was not the Brandon Sanderson book I originally was going to choose.
That's true.
I was going to choose Wind and Truth, but then I picked this one up and said this one works too. So you knew it had nothing to do with the photo or the title.
Well, I mean, it still could have had something to do with the photo.
It could have, but it was... You could kind of think about that, like what also would that book have fit in here?
Yeah, I think this one being so sparse,
simple,
makes it to where it's a little bit easier.
This is the one that's the closest to the same size, but his last name is bigger font than the title itself.
Yeah,
and then Brandon Sanderson is huge compared to the title. Octavia Butler's much bigger than the title, and then Greg Rucka, surprisingly, his name is huge compared to the name of that book.
Yeah, very interesting. That was a fun category.
And it's funny that you noticed that they were New York Times bestsellers, because I wonder if you're on the New York Times bestseller list, if you're more likely to have your author name be more prominently displayed on your cover.
Yeah, I
wonder if there is a correlation there.
Definitely. Well, and also. Like, these also had, like, this is a further one in a series, right? So this could have sold. These are adaptations, so they have something else like backing them. But I don't think this cover is from when the adaptation is coming. Okay, that's fair. So you don't think it was in production yet? I don't think that's an older book. We've had that for a while, so okay. I'm just wondering if there's like, it's you are a best-selling author and there's something else that's like propping up your book. Yeah, but I definitely think, and Greg Rucka is very popular. He's a comic book writer.
So while he isn't
Now, I recognize the name, but I couldn't tell you anything.
Well, while he isn't, to my knowledge, a New York Times bestselling author, he might be. His name is very recognizable. If you have read his work, you probably will recognize the name, and so that's probably what sells that book. So I did think a lot of books that have that are from authors we don't read. They're your airport books that everyone reads. Those authors. I know my mom had a lot of books of authors whose names are 3 times the size of the title of the book. Those really popular authors who put out a ton of books. And so I had to kind of comb the bookshelves and look and go, who are the biggest authors we have? And I just happened to come across Greg Rucka when I was looking for other things. And I was like, oh, his name is huge. So yeah, this was my favorite category, but it took forever to find because I didn't have one when I picked the category.
Okay.
I was just like, I want to do author names bigger than titles, and I don't know what books fit that. And so I just had to kind of go and look for some of our biggest authors that we had, our most well-known authors. And yeah, that's an interesting correlation. If that had a New York Times bestseller, I'd have to have been like, yeah, but also...
but also this other thing. All right, very fun. I had a blast doing this, and hopefully there will be more in the future. Let us know in the comments how you did.
Did you figure it out before Traven did?
And let us know if you'd like to see more of these so we can make some more in the future.
Oh, do you want to go over which of these you've read or haven't read?
Sure. So I've read Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians, Library at Mount Char, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, Atomic Robo, This Is How You Lose the Time War. I've not read Link Click, but like for those who don't know, this is basically stills from the anime put into a comic book.
Yes.
So it is essentially just reading the anime again.
Yeah. So it stills from the animated series. 100%.
I've not read it, but like I know
the story.
I know about it. I don't think I've read any of these. Magic for Liars, maybe, but I don't think.
I don't think you read it.
And then I've read Rhythm of War.
Did you not read a Game of Thrones?
I've not read a Game of Thrones.
Interesting. I read that one. I've read Game of Thrones, A Deadly Education, Grimoire for Grave Fates, Down a Dark Hall. What is that? Volume 3? I almost certainly read that Atomic Robo.
Read Magic for Liars.
Oh, I read Magic for Liars.
Yeah.
I almost certainly read that Atomic Robo. I remember stuff that happened in that one, so I'm sure I read that. This Is How You Lose the Time War, Link Click, The Night Librarians, and I started the Library of Mount Char, but haven't finished it.
You not read Wrong Place, Wrong Time?
I have not.
Okay.
It's one I would like to read, but I haven't read yet.
Awesome. All right. Time for the wrap-up. Thanks for joining me today for these games of book connections. Again, if you want to see Amanda try to tackle the games I put together for her, please check the description below, and I will put a link to that video as soon as it is available. As always, I hope your reading journey is going well. I hope you are having fun with the books that you consume. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so we can grow this corner of our BookTube community. And until the next one, take care.